indigenous native person, you know. And he told me he was the first member of his tribe to travel as far as he has outside of their reservation, you know. And that's crazy for me to even, and I think a lot more people here might even understand how crazy is that to think about, you know, how the United States forced him and his people on this small amount of land, and he was the first one who had traveled this far outside of it, you know. And so, you know, I had a lot of memories with him, and he was the most receptive person in real life, you know, because on the internet you can find people from, you know, all over the world who can agree with you, but in real life it's a lot harder to find people who are, you know, being deprogrammed, who are not brainwashed by the imperialist, you know, colonizer nation, you know. And him, you know, being a native from the reservation, you know, it was easier for him to understand, you know, the oppression of this white supremacist colonizer state, you know. And before he died, he really, you know, he really appreciated it. And for the people asking how he passed, it's very hard for me to come to terms with that. You know, when it first happened, I had one of my friends say, hey, you know, I don't accept that. We need to pressure them to do more of an investigation and all this, because they couldn't accept it either. And at the time, I just didn't want to deal with it, you know. And, you know, because I was just trying to process my emotions from him passing. But, you know, basically he drowned. Apparently he didn't know how to swim, and he went out on the boat on the lake, and, you know, they were jumping into the water, and apparently the story is that the boat drifted too far away because of the wind or something, right? And they couldn't get to him. And the thing is, other people have been telling me that, you know, he you know, he wanted to conquer that fear of not being able to swim. Other people have told me that the guy, you know, was like, okay, let's conquer your fear of swimming, and then took him out in the middle of the lake, and then just he let him jump in, you know, without any life vest or anything, which to me is crazy. I would never, you know, have my friend, you know what I'm saying, jump in the middle of a lake where they could drown without even a life vest. He was my age too, 26, you know, the exact same age as me. You know, he might have been a little bit younger or a little bit older, but I know he was, you know, my age or 1 or 2 years off. And, you know, it's just, you know, when it first happened, I didn't want to speculate on anything about it. You know, I just wanted to process what his life meant for me, you know, and how I want to change to be a more better person and be the best person I can, to honor the impact that he had on my life. But I just saw this video yesterday, and I just feel crazy saying this, but it's like, I don't, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm not a superstitious person. I try not to be. I'm a Marxist, but I literally just saw this video yesterday as I'm coming to terms and processing all this, of this white blonde influencer girl. I shared it on my Facebook. You can go look. And she pushed it. She tells this like bigger girl, you know, who says she doesn't know how to swim. She tells her, oh, you should just jump in, and they're at the dock. And then she's like, okay, I'm gonna jump in. She's like, do it. And they're filming her, and she jumps in, and then they just walk away, and she's saying, I can't swim. And she's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Like, she can literally die, like just walk away. and literally send chills down my spine. See that so close to this thing happening with. But it just hurts my heart because at this point, with this negligence or foul play, it's hard for me to accept that he just let my friend just go in the lake and just let him drown. Like, it's hard for me to accept that. But I don't know. I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know I wasn't there. And I say again in the title because a few years ago I was maybe 19 or 20. I think I was 9. I'm not sure if I was 19 or 20 at the time. Probably 19, maybe 20. And so hear me out. It's gonna take a while to explain this all, but just hear me out, right? I was with my friend, my best friend since elementary school. We were both Italian, both from Long Island, New York, and we met each other in elementary school in North Carolina, and we were friends all the way past high school. Like, even after when we became adults, like I lived with them. We had an apartment together. Him, his brother, and his girlfriend. And he was my best friend. He was the only one when we were kids who ever stood up for me. Like, if anyone's like, oh, trying to pick on me or fight me or anything, he would jump in. You know what I'm saying? So he was always. I always knew that was my best friend. But his parents were both on drugs, and so was he. So his mother actually had cancer, which nobody else really knew except for some people in the family until after she died. And basically, I was with him. I was with him. He was over at the place I was staying. We were hanging out, and he gets a call, and that his mother passed. He's all emotional. He leaves to go get a ride to go check on his mother, and he got worse off on dope. I want to keep this live stream on subject, but I do want to honor if somebody helps me out. Thank you so much. Somebody sent me $25 and say, may God bless and comfort you. God bless you. I really appreciate that. I know a lot of people don't believe me. So I kind of been delaying saying this, but or maybe not saying it at all, just showing it that I don't want to beg anymore. I want to make more serious content and be respected more by my viewers. And be a better socialist to honor my friend's legacy. But I'll get to that. I'll get to that part. That's just a brief synopsis. But I really want to continue to explain this, right? He got worse off on drugs, and I had a friend, I had a dealer who I sold stuff for, who had his own trap houses. You know what I'm saying? And one of his trap houses I had a key to, right? And I would run his trap house and sell his stuff and my stuff out of there. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't even there. He trusted me that much. But my friend Dominic, I got his name on my arm. I don't know how good it is to Dom G. He came over, and the thing was, a few different people did come over throughout the day. And, anytime anybody else came over, I did not go to the bathroom. I stayed in the living room the whole time because I had some money hidden under the couch, right? and he saw me put it under the couch. But whenever they would leave and it was just me and him there, you know, I would allow myself to go to the bathroom because I trusted him. Whenever the owner of the trap house come back, he's like, oh yeah, let me get that bread. I lift up the couch cushion, it's not there. So I know for a fact Dominic took it. So my dealer guy, he said, yo, you wanna beat him up? And I didn't say nothing, you know. I just told him, look, I'm gonna get you back as soon as I can. And we had a ride coming, and I was gonna get that ride, you know. And I just gave him the money for the ride, told him to take the ride. I said, I don't want to see you, you know. And that was the last time I saw him, you know. And so a few months later, I'm in jail because I got arrested for herb and mushrooms, you know what I'm saying, 2 felonies in North Carolina. And I was in jail for 5 months and then on probation for 2.5 years. You know what I'm saying? And the thing was, when I was in jail, my cellmate also knew Dominic. And he told me, you know, he just figured out that Dominic passed away or whatever. You know, people told him. And it was crazy because actually the day before or a few days before that, I heard Dominic was in jail, the jail also. And I heard he was trying to send me a kite or a little note, you know, to patch things up. And I was thinking in my head, you know, we're just going to have to fight. And after we fight, we can be friends again because you know what, that wasn't right what he did. But then before I could even get out of jail and fight him and be his friend again, you know, then a few days later he gets out of jail and then he ODs, you know. And so, you know, that was hard for me to reconcile with because we weren't on good terms, and he was my best friend all throughout my childhood, you know. And so, you know, when I got out of jail, I wanted to be a better person. You know, I didn't go back to selling illegal substances. You know, I got a job. I was steady working, doing it the right way, and I got a girlfriend. You know, we went to church together. You know, and she would say, "Oh, you know, you gotta get a car. You're not doing good enough." Blah blah blah. And I said, "Look," I told her, I said, "Look, if my brother Dominic could see me right now, he would say, don't even worry about it. You're doing great. You know, you're doing great." Because what I was before, and then being a responsible citizen afterwards, you know. And she just didn't get it, I guess, you know. But you know, and so the other night, sorry, my phone dropped. So the other night, this thing that David just said in the chat, I never had anything like that. This person's crazy. You know, that's why I kind of didn't even want to let comments, enable comments on this live, because of all the trolls, and it's, you know, a very serious topic for me. But the thing was, when my friend Coda, who's, you know, I realized now he was my best friend, you know, that I had until he just passed. He was someone who could actually understand what I was talking about and was actually receptive to what I was saying, you know, who actually wanted to hang out with me all the time, you know, and someone who I could relate to because he also had problems communicating effectively with women, or, you know, having good relationships with women. That's also something he struggled with, and also with being always socially accepted, you a few nights before the last night, before the last night I saw him, I went to this community event and he was there, and he said, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Let's smoke a spliff, man. At least somebody will hang out with me and not ignore me." And even though he's passed now, just remembering him saying that to me, makes my heart feel so much better because I know I was there for him, And it's a lot easier to reconcile than losing my last best friend because we left on a good note, Um, yeah, that's the one that streamed with me at the park. You can go back. It was a few weeks ago, or just search "Conversation with a Native Friend," and that's the title of the video, the live stream I did with him. And so the thing is, the last night I saw him, he's walking up to the place. I'm on the front porch because we hit up each other like, "Yo, let's hang out." He's walking over, and as he's walking up to the porch where I'm sitting, he's on the phone. And so when he hangs up the phone as he walks up, and he says, "I just found out my younger brother, just got shot in the head." And from his understanding, his brother's passed. From his understanding at that time, and from my understanding, his brother's already passed. After he passed, a few days later, somebody else who knew his family is telling me his brother's still on life support in critical condition at the hospital. I don't know the condition now. That was a week ago. But regardless, if he was in critical condition on life support, unconscious, or if he was actually dead, it gave me a comfort because me and my other friend who knew him and other people who knew him, we believe in our hearts that he went to be with his brother. Even if his brother does make it back into the conscious domain, even if his brother does regain consciousness, we know about near-death experiences. We know at that time you can still be in the spirit realm or whatever's next. Even if you're in life support in critical condition. So whether his brother, ultimately passed away from the shot in the head to to him recovering and gaining consciousness again, whether either possibility, I know in my heart that he went to be with his brother. Thank you, Lisa. I want to say thank you to all the people who are displaying sympathy or empathy for what I'm going through right now, and I appreciate you guys listening. I did want to go back and read the comments, but and respond to some of them, but I just want to get out everything, that I wanted to say about my friends, so I could, I really wanted to talk about all this, So, it brings me huge comfort because, when I got a text from somebody, a mutual friend. He told me that he just died yesterday. And at first I was hoping. I said, I really hope he didn't do it himself because he's so upset about his brother. I was hoping that wasn't the outcome. But then when I heard it was an accidental drowning, no matter how sad that is to think about how he felt in that moment, how scared he must have felt in that moment in his human form. It just really with the closeness of the events. It's literally only 3 or 4. Little brother got shot in the head. up to him and his little brother. And so it really makes me believe that 100% that he did go for his brother. You know, it's his spirit decided to go for his brother, you know, because I've heard so many stories, you know, not just on the internet, but real life stories like this that I just witnessed right now, of people passing back to back, and they wanted to be with each other, you know. And so I just you know, when he passed, I really, you know, I told some people, you know, I don't choose to believe in God. Like, I really don't, you know. Like, it's so deeply ingrained in me that it's just an unquestionable part of my life, you know. And it's like, whenever something like this happens to me, losing someone so close to me, and you know, it's especially with the fact that he was literally the the most receptive person, the person, you know. And I wanted to say this. I haven't told anybody this because I just felt like it would be easier to say it to his cell phone screen than to have somebody in person. But I just wanted to say this, that it's real. Just a week or two before he passed, maybe 3 or 4, I was somewhere in a public place and I saw 2 old men. You know, one was white, one was native, indigenous, you know. And they were friends talking to each other. And I said, you know, that'll be me and Coda one day, you know. God willing. You know. You know, I really saw in them. I said, that'll be us one day. You know, he's such a good friend. I know that's a friend for life, you know. Nobody that I'm talking about, nor I, is what these comments, crazy people are coming in here, trolls saying. But not I or my friend. These people just, you know, they really want to distract me from being able to really say what I want to say and have this moment. But you know, so when something like this in my life happens, it not only makes me have to deal with, you know, my connection with that person, you know, but also my connection to God, you know, my belief in God. So, you know, it always brings up my relationship to God when I lose somebody so important. I remember when Dominic passed. Yeah, it was in Lake Siskiyou. And you know, when Dominic's mother passed, he told me he doesn't believe in God anymore, and he just believes in science. You know? And I always have still believed in God, and I tried to rationalize it to myself at the time. And even now, I say I believe 100% now. God doesn't care if you believe in Him or not. If you believe in science or God or whatever, or if you believe in both, whatever, it doesn't matter. It just matters your heart and who you. Thank you, Eric. And you know, with Coda passing, you know, being someone who believes God is a personality, a person. God is a being. It just feels, it hurts to think, you know. Yeah, I haven't been the best communist. I haven't been the best educator about socialism, but you know, it just hurts. God took away the one person in my real life, in the flesh, that actually understood and really was receptive, you know. But when I think about that, I think that Coda is still with me, and that as long as I live on this earth, he will be here to give me some energy and support, you know, and emotional, spiritual support to continue and to continue to strive for a world without oppression. You know, he's on a new journey now, but I believe wherever he is, he respects me for continuing my journey to end oppression of man by man, of humans by humans. You know, something that he can really understand. He could really understand as a native indigenous person. And a few years ago, I understood that even if I don't manage to convince a certain person in one conversation or in any conversation about socialism, you know, I get better at conversating about it, at addressing common points or bullet points or common misconceptions or common propagandized points that people, phrases that people know, you know. And I learn more and I get better at being an educator. So, you know, it's a little hard for me to, it's been really hard for me to not base my content around begging, because it's definitely helped me gain traction and views and followers, you know. But you know, I want to make more serious and educational content, you know. I feel like that's my duty, you know, and I want to honor the people who support me. So at this point, I'm gonna go back in the comments and try to respond to all of them, unless they're hate comments or negative or trolls. Um, because you know, I've come to a point where I'm not finding any